The average young Nigerian still sees a million naira as a life-changing experience. I've met a lot of young people who think that to make your first million, there are things that are hidden from the public. There's some kind of classified information that is not revealed to the public, and then you have to go an extra mile or you have to do hideous things to make money. The misconception is most people think before you make a million naira, or to make a million naira, you'd have to land a big client project or work with the government, win a lottery. There are principles to making money, and that's why someone can lose everything and make it back in less than half of the time it took them to make it. How exactly can you make a million naira? There are principles to these things. What are principles? Principles are basically what has been proven to work globally. It has worked for different people of different calibers, different color. That's what a principle is. I chose to do this now because the routines that lead you to certain milestones are not what would lead you to the next one. Someone that his goal is to make 10 million naira per month probably has a team, probably has automation or systems working for them, so they don't have to put in as much work as someone who is striving to make his first million naira. They might not have to wake up as early. They might not have to work as hard. Probably most of what moves the big needles now are just the big decisions that you have to make, not the hard work you have to put in. In this video, I'm going to be revealing 7 principles that worked for me, that led me to make my first million naira. Now, a lot of young business owners have been asking me how to make money or scale their businesses or start a business with content. I spent 60 minutes with young business owners, exposing them to the 7 strategies you need to follow if you want to scale your business from 6 figures to 7 figures. As a young business owner, even if you don't have a product yet, or you have a product you're selling, but you want to learn more about how to make more sales, I recorded that video. After watching this video, go through it, make good use of the information there. The first thing is always have a routine to hold yourself accountable. And the essence of having a routine is not just for the visible goal. The routines we engage ourselves in, the habits we develop, they have visible goals. Working out every day, the visible goal is to become physically fit. Eating healthy is to stay healthy. Having a routine is to accomplish the goals for the day or for the week. But the deeper meaning or the deeper effect this has on you is you have something to hold yourself accountable for, and you develop a sense of responsibility, and that's something you really need if you want to make your first million. Having routines that you can hold yourself accountable to places you on a hot seat. Now you've written down what you know you're supposed to do every single day. The day you miss it, you feel guilty, and that guilt is a good thing, in as much as you shouldn't allow it to come more often. But the guilt is there because now you know you didn't keep to your word, and most of the work that goes in making your first million is not necessarily tactical mind tasks. It's mostly the skill and just putting the effort, putting the work. But the essence of having a routine, it builds your mindset, because this is what you would use later on. Trust me, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, these big business moguls, they don't do as much hard work again. Most of what they do now is thinking. You have lots of things to do, and by the time you're done doing lots of things, you realize that in the long run, you actually were not doing anything at all. You were just scattering your seeds. In a day, you had a full calendar. You had to do this, and do that, and you feel fulfilled. But looking at it in the long run, it didn't contribute to you mentally. It didn't contribute to your business. It didn't literally have an impact in your long-term goals, right? So the essence of having a routine is to keep you in check. Now, you know that if you want to post 8 videos on your YouTube every month, or you know you want to be posting twice on your social media platform every day, you know you now incorporate your routine to achieve those long-term goals. And the essence of routine is it gives you this patience, because you're not expecting immediate returns. Now, you know that when you have a routine of working out every single day, you don't just expect to be jacked after 3 days. You've developed that mindset of, this is what I'll be doing for the next 2 months. This is what I'll be doing for the next 3 months, whether I see results or not. Now, your only duty is to keep to that routine. Whatever happens after that is not in your control again. Now, routine gives you that sense of control, because most of us were born into situations where we had no control. You were born into a family that you struggled to have 3 square meal, you dropped out of school. All these things were not in your control. Having a routine is you're having something in control. You start building from there. Have a routine that you hold yourself accountable to. The second principle you should keep to is get used to doing one thing for a long period of time. I'll use this analogy. Most of us in high school, secondary school, we had this magnifying glass that during break we would go outside in the field, place it under the sun rays, on someone's hand, and until you tilt it to a certain angle, it was just normal. When you tilt it and get that particular angle, it starts burning your skin. What happened in that moment is all the sun rays gathered at one point, and that is the power of focus. Now, this is what worked for me. I never saw reasonable progress in my life until I started focusing on just one thing. What made me my first million was just one skill. In this context, it's unfortunate that we were born into a life of options. Back in the day, if someone wanted to learn a trade, learn a skill, they didn't have as much distractions as we have now. When your boss agrees to train your child, you pack your whole belongings from your father's house and you totally relocate to a new place. You're leaving the family distraction, the friends distraction, all your friends that you knew from your childhood, you literally leave them, going to a new location to learn a new skill. So you see how much distraction you already automatically take away from your life. But in this day and age, if you'd want to learn Facebook ads today, tomorrow you might see someone telling you about e-commerce. The next day you can see someone telling you about faceless YouTube automation. There are lots of distractions, and the only way you can start seeing reasonable progress is if you focus on one thing and you're able to track it. Start with one skill. You're not leaving anything on the table. I usually thought that if I'm doing this, let me be doing this and be doing this too. I don't want to leave money on the table. That's the mindset you come in with, and it's honestly not going to take anywhere. Focusing on one thing has always been the winning ticket. When I started out, it was with graphic design. I usually did my little calligraphy and progressed into graphic design, designing with apps and all. There are lots of ways of making money with graphic design, even though it's not the skill itself. But I wasn't patient enough because I saw another skill, copywriting. I hopped on that. From there, someone told us about Amazon KDP and how lots of people are milking from it. I hopped on that one too. And that's why I kept on hopping until I settled on one particular business skill. And what I did was, for the next 6 months, I think 7 months, every single day I was making a video and posting on my TikTok. That was literally the only thing I was doing. I was never posting on Instagram, Facebook at that time. Every single day on my way to school, I record a video. It was a non-negotiable. I wasn't even going to. I remember vividly when I was feeling so sick, I was having pounding headache, like literal pounding headache. But because I had promised myself that every single day I would make a video and post on my TikTok, I literally recorded a video and edited it, then posted it. Now, what this particular practice did for me was I got good in front of the camera and I got good at editing because I had to edit my videos to post them. Now, these two skills alone are what scaled things for me. I was patient enough because I had tried a lot of things, and you're hearing this is making money for this person, this is making money for this person. But then they are telling you these stories from a perspective of 2 years, 3 years. The grass is always greener on the other side. You just don't know that it's manual that is making that grass greener until you go to the other side and you see that, oh, it's actually shit there. No business comes easy. Every single business has its hard points, and until you understand this, you won't be able to focus on one. You keep on chasing the next shiny object. So for whatever it is you want to start, go 4, 5, 6 months into it. Make sure you give it your all before you say no, before you say, okay, I'm drawing the curtains on this one. Most of you just spend 2 weeks on something, 3 weeks on something, 4 months on something, and you're expecting the results that someone who has spent a year in, 2 years in, is getting. Select something that has proven track record already. Now, the skill you're selecting, the skill you're choosing to learn, are people making money with that skill? This particular product, are people making money with this particular product? Carry out your research before you start focusing on one thing. Aside from business, habits, routines, you start a habit, you're so vibed up, you say you're going to start doing this and this every single day. You start this kind of push-up, and then 2, 3, 4 days into it, you see the next kind of push-up, and then you say, oh, this one, I wasn't feeling the pain too much. Let me start this one and see if I'll feel the pain. It doesn't work that way. You have to learn to focus on one thing. My workout routine is as simple as what I've been doing for the past 7 months. The same push-up. The only thing that increases is just the number of reps. That's all, right? So most times we try to complicate simple things. Simple things don't get complex. It's just doing it for a long period of time that makes it feel complex. If I tell you read 20 pages for the next 6 months, it's going to sound simple, but it's not easy. Every single skill, every single business can make you your first million naira. You just have to be patient enough to go through with it from the beginning till the end. The third principle that really worked for me is waking up early. You listen to most people who have made it, and the mistake that you make is you take their lessons from their current experience. Someone who is running a $10 million business or a 10 million naira business, if they are telling you the way they make money, it's of no use to you. Why? Because you might not be with the resources they have, the contacts they have, the leverage they have. So when someone is telling you their routine, I wake up by 10 a.m., I chill, I go to the gym, I spend 1 hour at the gym, and I come back, I do my meditation for 30 minutes. These are people who have made it. And then you think this is what you need to incorporate. When I started out, a point came where I knew, okay, I need to start waking up early. Because when you wake up late, not only are you trying to catch up with the day, you're lost. You're just into that loop of trying to run up to catch up with the day. You wake up late, you're trying to not be late for school, you're trying not to be late for something. You just want to gather up your day. When you wake up early, you think clearly, your brain is more active, right? That is the time where you do your routine, your morning routine, you plan the day, you can do your meditation, you can do whatever it is that makes it easy for you. Now, it's the best time to plan your day. You foresee your day. You're a prophet over your own day. Because if you don't have a sketch or a plan of how your day should go, it's a flavor of lunacy, because it's only mad people that wake up and they just start walking around and take anything the day brings for them, right? So waking up early really helped me, because there's this feeling you have when 6 o'clock hits and you have done like 2 things. You build your self-confidence for the day earlier, right? You feel like you're ready to take on the day just by doing, probably you just did your quiet time and you read like a page, you read like 3 pages or 4 pages, or you watched a helpful video. By the time you're seeing others wake up from sleep and they're looking so slurry and all that, but you're agile, it gives you this kind of, okay, I'm ready for the day. That's what really worked for me, and you should try and incorporate it, all right? Now, waking up early doesn't mean 3 o'clock, 2 a.m. You could start by 4 a.m., you could start by 5:30, you could start by 5 o'clock, whatever works for you, right? I started by 3:30 a.m. and it didn't work out for me because I could wake up around 3:30 and sleep throughout, then wake up by 6 a.m. on my chair, right? So I started, okay, let me start with 5:30. 5:30, you wake up, you try and do something within 30 minutes. A time came where my routine could no more fit into 30 minutes. I increased it to an hour. I started waking up 5 a.m. That's where it kept on going till you see yourself waking up by 4 a.m. and you're eager because you know there's something to do till before 6 a.m. or before your wake up time. Build that habit of waking up early so that you win the day from the start. The 4th principle I would advise young people to adopt: avoid unnecessary relationships. Not only romantic relationships, even casual relationships. When you're at your puberty, teenagers, early 20s, you're bustling with energy and your emotions are haywire. So you're young, you're bustling with energy. One thing about emotions is emotions are energy. And like I said, energy, we all have 4 kinds of currency. Meta. We have money, energy, time, and attention. Money, you spend money. Energy, when you're tired, you say I'm spent. Time, you spend time. Attention, you pay attention. So energy is a divine force, is a divine currency, and we have limited energy. That's why you can only do as much in a day, right? People that are blessed with bursts of energy, or you can train yourself to have so much energy. One thing young people mistake is they think you can focus on maintaining a relationship and focusing on making money, because these two are different. I heard this funny quote from Albert Einstein. He said, a man who drives safely and is kissing a girl is not giving the girl the full attention, because these are 2 different activities that require immense focus. So the fact that he's driving safely on the road only means one thing: his full attention is on that wheel. One thing about relationships, especially with young people, is you need to understand that you are not yet prepared to handle what comes with a romantic relationship. Now, there's some people that are blessed with like early maturity and all, but majority are not yet ready, and you experience breakups, you experience unnecessary arguments that can ruin your day. You know, you go back and forth. These are things that are draining your energy, and at the end of the day, you are not focused enough to actually build what you want to build for yourself. You see people engaged in relationships that only degrade them, toxic relationships that is demanding more from you than you are from the other person, right? You see guys engaged in relationships where the girl is constantly comparing them with another person, and then they are stuck in that loop of trying to prove to this person that you are more than you are. That's a very flawed way of thinking. Having the right relationship with the person is a beautiful thing, right? Having the right relationship with someone who supports your dreams, who is ready to not be selfish with your attention. That's a symposium discussion. I'm not here to give you relationship advice. Avoiding unnecessary relationship. There are some people who are not supposed to be in your life. You know it deep down. This could be friends, your old time friends, your paddies. Now you know that this person is no more as beneficial to you and your goal and your dream, but you just want to keep them because you want to keep them. We've been friends for 13 years. We've been friends for 5 years. There are some of my friends that I just knew with constant development, personal development. There are some conversations I could no more have with them. Now, when I meet these people, what we're basically talking about are things that I'm not ready to talk about. I'm not ready to give my energy to this conversation. Yeah. Low resolution conversations. When you get to that point, you just have to summon the courage. It's not like, I'm not going to say it like it's just something you just block the person. No, you have to summon the courage to make that choice between your dream or a 5-year relationship or a 10-year relationship. Now, whatever your decision is, you've won because you made a decision. A point will come where your friends are your next challenge. There are some relationships in your life that will be a challenge. It could be with your mom, it could be your dad, it could be with someone very close to you, right? But you just know that this is no more contributing to who I want to become. This person is no more contributing. And at your early age, you need to understand that you have to be selfish with your time, your attention, your energy. Anything you're spending these currencies on that are not giving you high return on investment is a waste, okay? You have to be as selfish as possible with your time, attention, and energy, especially at a young age, because this is what you would use to build the foundation for the next 30 years. So avoid unnecessary relationships. You know those relationships that are no more contributing to you. It's time to sit down and make that painful decision, okay? Now, the more time you spend, you're going to still meet people in life that you would have to stop being friends with. You'd have to stop associating with. It's not something you do and leave, right? So you have to build that courage to be able to make hard decisions for the greater good. The 5th principle is polish your wants. When you're young, there are a lot of things. Even social media does not make it easy. You want a lot of things. And one thing I've come to realize is the more you want, the more unhappy you become, because what you want, you haven't gotten it. So anytime you remember you haven't gotten it, you feel some kind of disappointment, and that drains your energy, which is your spiritual currency that you need to use extremely well. So what do? I had to start curtailing what I want, knowing that I want a car, I want an apartment, I want all these good things of life. Now, these things are unconsciously in your head, but you don't understand that they are sapping your energy slowly and unconsciously, because whenever you remember this is what I want and I don't have it, therefore I haven't won, it stacks up on you subconsciously, and you start making decisions from a place of lack. You start making prayers from a place of lack. Now, as a young person, what you should be praying for actually is not for a brand new car. It's not for 100,000 naira so that you could attend an event of 50,000 naira or buy good things of life that small people value. There are some things you shouldn't pray for. Most things people pray for is only because you are praying from the state of your bank account. And I had that switch of saying, what I want now, if I had 10 million naira in my account, would I pray for it? Most people think that what they pray for is what they actually want. No, you're praying from a place of lack. I'll tell you why. If you bring a child who has not eaten for the past 2 days, and you bring a child who has eaten for the past 2 days very well, but needs money for school fees. When you bring these two people, bring them to the richest person in their neighborhood, say whatever you want, I'll give it to you now. What do you think the person that lacks food will pray for? Food. The person that lacks school fees, what do you think you pray for? School fees. And that's what most young people do. You have the opportunity to ask God for what you want, and you're praying amiss. Even the Bible said it. You do not have because you don't ask. And when you ask, you do not receive because you ask amiss. Now, when you ask, you only ask for your pleasures, what will give you selfish returns. And that's why you do not receive. So one thing I took upon myself was polishing my wants. I had a list of things I was going to buy if I make my first million. So I switched my wants from things that someone could supply or provide within the blink of an eye to things that you have to build. So I stopped asking for money. I stopped asking for the best suit, the best car, an apartment. I started asking for intangible things, because these are the things that when you get it, all these tangible things you're praying for are inevitable. Deeper things like spirit of discernment, to know more of the truth, to have a stronger mindset, to have a better character. These are things you as a young person should be asking for, because I promise you, what you're asking for, you're asking it from a place of naivety, because you're a teenager or you're in your early 20s, and you're asking it for, probably majority of the time, you're asking it from a place of lack. So most people's prayers are wired to the state of their bank accounts, which is not supposed to be, right? Pray for things that in the next 30 years, they are still useful to you. You'll be grateful that you have them. This is the little exercise I did. Whenever I said I want this, I asked myself, someone with 10 million naira, can they afford it? Yes. Then I'm not supposed to pray about it, because if I had 10 million naira, I will not pray about it. So what do? I start praying like someone who has 10 million naira. And you would see that your prayers will change, your mindset will change. Think the way you look at life changes, even with an empty bank account. Now, what I'm telling you right now is what I practice with an empty bank account. Your prayers shouldn't be for your immediate circumstances. These are just obstacles. Look beyond them. Think beyond them. Make your requests known to God based on the future you want to have, not on your prevailing circumstance. The sixth principle is very, very common, and I would love young people to really take note of this. Dress the way you want to be addressed. Now, I see a lot of young people, you want to make your first million naira, but you're spending 50k on a pair of sneakers. If you want to make your first million naira, you have to know that this is your season of extreme discipline. If there was an extreme sort of discipline, this is the time to apply it. I never bought clothes for myself, even with the money I started receiving, before I made my first million. If you want to walk into rooms that can give you $1 million with just one contract, one deal, you have to start thinking like that. And not only thinking like that, but also dressing the part. Most young Nigerians are being influenced by, of course, the celebrities. Now you see these celebrities and you decide to dress like them, but they have a reason for dressing that way. You need to understand this. The society we are in right now, especially in Nigeria, if you're a young person making money, especially in your teens and your early 20s, you would never get the amount of respect that is given to someone in his 30s or his 40s making the same amount of money you're making. Why? It's normal. It's the society. The society sees it as you're probably enjoying dad's money, or you just had a big breakout, or someone just decided to sponsor your life. If it's for guys, that's the story. If it's for girls, they say you're enjoying daddy's money, or you have a boyfriend that's taking very good care of you. Then why are you trying to impress a society who has a decade or a century age long definition of young people? That if you're young and you're making money, you're doing something illegal, right? If you want to make your first million naira, or if you want to become a millionaire and remain a millionaire, you need to understand minimalistic dressing, or simple dressing, classic dressing. Now, when you have made enough money that you can now live the way you want to live, you're no more focused on saving and investing or making more money, you're good to live your life. But for someone who is still trying to learn the ropes, that's still trying to make your first million, first 2 million, first 3 million, first 5 million, there's no need for that right now. You need to learn how to dress the way you want to be addressed. If you want to be accorded the respect that people are going to accord you, you need to dress that part. You can't come into a board meeting with sneakers and a lot of chains with bangles and rings on all your fingers. This does not impress the rich people anymore. If you have that goal of actually working and sitting on the same table with the ultra wealthy, you need to start now by the way you dress. The last principle, before I made my first million, I understood that I have to decrease my screen time, not just generally decrease my screen time because I make money from my phone, so I have to be on my phone, right? Decrease your screen time for consumption and increase your screen time for productivity. When you spend so much time on TikTok, Instagram, just watching dance videos, challenges, you're not feeding yourself any valuable information that will be useful to you. You are wasting time. One thing that really worked for me was reducing the screen time I spent on these social media apps that are not making me money. Now, most of the money I made at that time was just from WhatsApp. Yeah. So I knew that, okay, I could schedule my posts on TikTok and hide my TikTok app, schedule my posts on Instagram and hide my Instagram app. So other social media platforms that you know you're not making money from, you can hide them for now. A point to come where you start running Facebook as you actively have to be checking your ads on Facebook or Ads Manager, whatever. But you have to understand that this is your time of extreme learning, and the amount of time you spend, what you pay, like I said, you have 4 currencies: your money, energy, time, and attention. And you have attention in abundance, right? What you spend your attention on, it's definitely at some point in life would come. I've been in the shoes where you spend so much time watching and learning a particular thing, and a point comes where you're asking yourself, is this really what I'm supposed to do? Because you feel like you're now feeding yourself with so much information, and then thoughts of, okay, taking a break and all come. No, that is just your body trying to reject what it's not used to. You can never have more than enough information if you're making good use of the information. Increase your screen time for productivity and decrease your screen time for consumption. Now, these principles are not engraved in stone, right? These are what helped me make my first million, and that's what I'm just sharing with you. Ladies and gentlemen, those are the 7 principles that helped me make my first million naira. If you gain value from this video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and as usual, share this video with just 3 people, no more, no less. As always, where you are right now is not your final destination. I shall see you at the top, but for now, lock in and represent.